Mario, Donkey Kong. Lucky? The Switch is home to some incredible 2D and 3D platformers. In fact, I'd say it's the best place to play them by far. But when you're competing against the likes of Super Mario Odyssey and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, you better bring your A game if you want to be successful, or at least recognized. Enter New Super Lucky's Tale. Playful Games must have sensed the 800-pound banana-loving gorilla and his plumber friend, as they weren't content to just release their original title, Super Lucky's Tale, on Switch, instead opting to rework the Oculus and Xbox One adventure by bringing tighter controls, new levels, all the DLC, and more overall polish to put the new in New Super Lucky's Tale. Let me just say that I love that move, and I love that dedication. It's great to port cool games to Switch, but it's so much sweeter when the carryover gets a fresh coat of paint. What we have here is a 2D, 3D combo platformer that oozes fun and charm while delivering the gameplay polish necessary to stand out in a very crowded genre. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Force. Big thanks to Playful for sponsoring this video. They asked me if I wanted to work on a video dedicated to New Super Lucky's Tale, and since I was already interested in the game after seeing the cute little fox at E3, I said yes. You can go check out New Super Lucky's Tale via the link in the description below. It's out now on Switch for $39.99, but I'm glad I did agree to do a video because the game is a ton of fun. It rises above a large majority of the platformer fare we find week in and week out on the Switch, and that difference is instantly recognizable. Like when you collect the letters in each level, there's a split second of slow-mo, and that feels incredible. And the backgrounds, the 2D levels, they're full of life. It keeps your eyes totally tantalized rather than focused solely on the right side of the screen. Plus, you can go into the backgrounds for some multi-layered level design, which I always love. There's a bunch of platforming challenges that are very reminiscent of Mario Sunshine's Floodless segments, or more recently, Mario Galaxy 2, and even Mario Odyssey. You'll notice influences from many genre giants, but that's not a bad thing at all. In fact, I'm really glad they decided to riff on what Nintendo does so well. Copying the king is a pretty smart move. They home run the controls in New Super Lucky's Tale, which is too rare an accomplishment for this type of game, and they put forth a mascot who isn't annoying or off-putting in any way. All of that helps this one stand out as a very worthy follow-up for you to play once you're through with the first party fare. And it's very cool that Playful decided to throw so much variety into Lucky's adventure. It's like a platformer's jukebox of levels. You want some 2D stages with dynamic backgrounds and a bunch of collectibles to encourage thoroughness and challenge? Check. You want some 3D stages with multiple objectives, sizable open environments, and quirky characters to flesh out the world lore fun? Check. You want some hub worlds that have their own hidden challenges, plus impressive visual flourishes so that even the time between levels is engaging? Check. You want some auto-runner levels to pay tribute to that era of platformers? Well, they're actually well executed and don't feel like a cop-out whatsoever, so check. You've even got some top-down levels, rounding out the list of every major way to play a platformer in 2019. It wears many different hats, and so does Lucky. There are costumes, and I don't know why, but I was very excited to get new ones in each new world and dress up my fox. Lucky's moveset carries over perfectly to every type of level, and I found this to be really impressive. Cause yeah, jump works everywhere, but we've got a burrow move here. So making sure that was fun and effective across all styles, nice work. This is the game's unique element from a moveset standpoint, as the fox heads underground to collect more coins, avoid obstacles, upend enemies, and just to move a little bit quicker. There's a great sense of flow to New Super Lucky's Tale, and that is due to the killer controls, the chainability of his moves, and the layout and structure of each level. It's a great feeling to bounce high, burrow deep, and never worry that you're being thrown about against your will. You'll never fight the controls, and that alone elevates New Super Lucky's Tale so high in my book. It's one of those games where you can blaze through in about 5 to 6 hours, or you can hunt down all the collectibles and complete all the levels and double your completion time. Each level has a number of clovers you can collect, one for spelling Lucky, one for collecting 300 coins, one for finding the hidden page, and one for just straight beating the stage. I found myself needing to grab all the letters. I think the linearity of that collectible gives me a nice sense of forward progress within a level. Plus, it's an easy marker to know when I move past an area too fast and need to do a little more digging, a little more exploring. So those are your 4 main targets in each stage, and again, it's impressive that this carries over seamlessly no matter the type of level. They've done a great job of unifying things so it never feels cobbled together. Each world requires a certain number of clovers to challenge the boss and advance. But you won't even need to play every one of the 30-ish or so levels if you're just trying to mainline this thing, leaving entire stages untouched. This provides a lot of content to come back for, and it also allows you to tailor your experience a little bit, focusing on 2D or 3D or whatever your preference may be. For me, I love the 2D levels the most. DKC Tropical Freeze is absolute cream of the crop across any console, and these levels remind me enough of that game to bring a bunch of smiles. New Super Lucky's Tale isn't as demanding as those Retro Studios platformers, and if I had one complaint about the game, it honestly would be that I wish it was a bit more difficult. I feel like it's targeting a more mainstream audience, but does enough to appeal to both younger and older platformer fans. I personally just like punishing jumps and borderline obnoxious sequences of skill. I also wish the loads were a little bit shorter, or that they were able to avoid some of them altogether. It doesn't ruin the experience by any means, but occasionally it does interrupt your adventure. The game looks great on Switch though, and it runs very, very well. It's fun to see the sights amongst the different worlds. We haven't even touched on them yet, but you've got a ghostly village, a seaside resort, a Yeti wrestler retreat, which is awesome, and a few others, plus a world full of challenges that serve as the post-game content. And man, there are a lot of very different types of little challenges throughout the entire game. Most show up in the 3D levels and the hub worlds, stuff like kill all the enemies, roll a lucky ball through a maze, collect the special coins, reach the top of an area. They're like mini star challenges almost from a 3D Mario. The constant shuffling of gameplay styles keeps any individual style from wearing out its welcome, although I will say the top-down stages were my least favorite. But I did have a blast bouncing from level type to level type, getting in a little 2D action over here, a little 3D action over there, plus you get to see how each themed world looks and feels from both perspectives. That's really neat, and while the worlds definitely have an overall theme, there's some solid variety amongst the stages within. Shout out to the watermelon level. Let's talk boss battles and story for a second here. The plot is pretty simple, but I was impressed by the eclectic characters that guide you through the campaign. Yetis, worms, golems, evil cats. It's a cool ensemble, and the dialogue is actually pretty fun to read through. It's important to stress how nice it is to experience fun cartoony characters who aren't in your face, who aren't annoying. I really like the little universe Playful has crafted here. It feels like it could easily be adapted into a Netflix animated series or something like that. And they've got a head start with a handful of cutscenes, which usually precede the culminating encounters with named crazy cats who serve as the bosses of New Super Lucky's Tale. The battles are all pretty similar, involving a lot of dodging and nimble maneuvering, in concert with some combat and cat smashing, of course. So while not revolutionary, they do offer yet again another note in the game's variety medley. And that's why New Super Lucky's Tale shines. Impressive variety grounded by polished gameplay and a character that is darn fun to control no matter the scenario. The new in the title, it's earned, as Playful reworked and perfected their initial product, something I'd love to see a bunch of other Switch ports adopt. And Lucky is just a likable little fox. It's a likable world. It's a happy forward romp, and I was consistently pleased with how deftly the game shifts between 2D and 3D, from level to level. New Super Lucky's Tale takes a page out of a lot of different books, but in doing so, creates a tale that can definitely stand on its own, and stand above most other attempts in this typically Nintendo-dominated genre. That's going to do it for the video, guys and girls. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this look at New Super Lucky's Tale. As I mentioned at the top, I put a link in the description down below to the game if you want to check it out for yourself. I really did like this one. But until next time, everybody, thanks so much for being here. I love you a lot. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Switch Force out.